Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Swahili Sunday. It's great to be here on this Sunday before Christmas. And I thought I would talk about today about being, the holiday blues. Holiday blues is something a lot of people get during this time. By the way, if you are watching after the fact, thank you so much for watching. Um, I don't know who all is going to listen to this, or if there's just one person that needs to hear whatever I'm going to talk about. But I think there's a lot of people that struggle during the holidays. I know I've been one, and I thought I would share my story. A lot of people know my life story, but I don't know if you know the depth of like how the holidays were for me as a kid. Um, I I I There's a lot of people know my mother died of alcoholism when I was 12 years old. So, being a kid before that, like I remember growing up as a kid, that Christmas was a big deal for me. Um, or like for my family, they would, there'd be a tree and then we'd have all these decorations. I remember this little city under the tree that had a little electric train, and there were a lot of toys and things, or a lot of little things as part of the city. Some of them were actually my mother's when she was a child. So that I would just get lost in that little city at Christmas time because my family life was pretty chaotic because my mother was an alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic too, but I remember more. Yeah, and I remember them both being kind of crazy and fighting each other and throwing things and whatever, throwing each other and all those kind of things that happened. I used to run and hide under my bed often, um, as a kid when they would start fighting. But Christmas time allowed me the opportunity to escape into that little city under the tree and kind of disconnect from the chaos. And like there are people this year who have lost family members due to COVID. One of my good friends lost her mother around the beginning of the year, and this is her first holiday without her. And she's going through the feelings and the emotions about that. So there may be a lot of people going through those feelings and emotions. Now, I don't understand as an adult what it's like to lose a family member, um, a close family member, at a, and spend Christmas without them. I only know what it's like as a child. But as a child, what I went through, yeah, it was pretty bad. So the further my mother got in her alcoholism, the closer to, uh, I guess, the amount of chaos that ensued was worse as the years went on. I mean, we lived in Bay Village, Ohio. I was born in Dallas, Texas. My father worked for General Motors. I don't think I've ever told this part of my story. So my father worked for General Motors. He was a business executive, moved to Bay Village, Ohio. He'd gotten a promotion. He was like a general manager of the truck and coach division in the Ohio area. And um, then he got, really sick. And we had to, I guess the prescription at that time was move to warmer weather. He got pneumonia. He almost died actually and I was born to late in life parents. My mother was in her 40s. My father was 51. So, he was in his 50s when he got the pneumonia, and the thing was moved to warmer weather. So he got transferred to San Antonio, Texas, which is where I ended up growing up. And my mother, like moving there, and then I'm just knowing this, piecing this together. I didn't understand it in a kid's mind, but as an adult, I kind of pieced together things that happened with her. So she was like something about moving from whatever she had in Ohio, whatever status or whatever life or whatever things that she had in Ohio that she enjoyed, and moving to Texas, um, just really destroyed her. And she started drinking. I mean, I don't remember when she really started drinking heavily. I just remember as a kid that she drank and drank and drank. And Christmas, even though the house was all decorated, my father went to great lengths to decorate and put the lights up outside, and every room in the house had a little. I remember these little bells hanging there with little lights in them, and I used to love to sit there and look up at them at night. And but I would escape to the little city and play in the little city and imagine I was somewhere else, because that with the holidays came a lot of chaos, a lot of fights, a lot of yelling and screaming, and things like that. So it was kind of bittersweet. I enjoyed part of it, but then there was always the when was the other shoe going to drop? Well, my mother died in when I was 12 years old, and after that, there was never another celebration. My father, like, ended up going into a deep depression and just kind of drank himself, not really to death. I mean, he eventually died. He died when I was 22. So, but there was never another Christmas. There was never another birthday celebration. There was never another anything. It was just like a day where he would go into his room that he had and he would just drink himself into a stupor and send me off to somebody else's house. So my family, I never had a family Christmas or a family holiday after that. I always got sent to somebody else's house, and my father would stay home and drink himself into a stupor. So that's kind of what I grew up with in my teen years. When I was 18, many of you know this story. When I was 18, I came home to an empty house and a note of eviction on the door. He had moved from Texas to Florida, and so that's kind of how the holidays were for me. Oftentimes, like, I would just go and isolate myself, because it's like I got to the point where I got sick of going to somebody's house for Christmas, because I always got discarded somewhere. So I've had my experience with the holiday blues. And actually, if I can find where I put the Swahili word for the day is sad. Well, I can't find I'm doing this on my phone and it's not in order, or maybe it didn't save. So huzuni means sad in Swahili. And that, there's a lot of people struggling with that. Last year, this time, I had a cast on my wrist and my knee was swollen the size of a grapefruit, because I had fallen at the second Saturday event and broke my wrist and messed up my knee pretty bad, to where for about 3 weeks I couldn't walk on it. I couldn't walk. I had to slide up the hall and get a crutch to kind of help me. It was hard because I couldn't really use a crutch with my right hand, and the left, it was, I don't know, but I had a crutch. Somebody brought me a set of crutches. They didn't give it to me in the hospital, and I managed to crutch myself around. People had to come and help me, but Christmas Day last year I spent by myself, and I pretty much spent by myself crying, because my son was way up in Northern California. My daughter said she didn't feel well, so she stayed home, and I didn't want to have anybody. And I was thinking, oh, I don't want to ruin somebody else's Christmas to have them come and bring me food or take care of me. But I probably robbed somebody the opportunity of a blessing to help me. But that's kind of what happens when you go into what I call kind of an isolation mode, and you start thinking these thoughts, and you start isolating yourself and cutting yourself off. And it's tough. It's tough to break out of that. I for someone who has to fight doing the isolation thing, and especially with COVID over the last couple of years, we haven't been able to gather or anything. It's been so nice to be able to get together. Last night at Fair Trade Long Beach, we had a little event, and it was so nice to be together again. Even though we had to wear masks, we could at least be together in public gathering and not have to worry about it. But it's it's hard. It's hard. People get caught up in the holidays as to, oh, let's go, get the next biggest thing to put under the tree. And I remember when my kids were little, and I would purposely not buy into the, oh, they'd get some things that they wanted, but I wasn't going to buy into the hype of, oh, this is the toy of the season, and I'm going to go wait in line and get in fights with people to grab that thing for my kid. It's like I kind of taught my kids early on that Christmas isn't about getting stuff; it's about giving, and it's about the birth of Jesus. And um, that's my faith and what I believe. And a lot of people are looking for different things to fill themselves, whether it's success or a relationship or an addiction of some sort. That all that's on the rise. COVID made that even worse. There's the I think addiction and domestic violence and suicide rate and all that type of stuff is has really jumped since COVID. And now that we're coming out of it, people are still looking to be offended and looking to get angry. You can always find something to be offended about. I'm a Christian. People are offended by that. If you're offended by that, you don't have to listen to me talk about my faith. That this is a free country still, hopefully, in the US. I mean, we're struggling with things. I was thinking about it this morning. I remember a pastor from the church I went to before my daughter was born. So my daughter's 30. And before she was born, there was a pastor who was studying theology, and he was studying like the Hebrew and the Greek language, and he was going deep into understanding the Bible and the scriptures to a level to where he could explain it to people. And he actually said, this was over 30 years ago, that America in the end times was not going to be any kind of a superpower, that it was going to implode from within. And in 1990, nobody would have thought that. But if you look at things today, yeah, it's kind of looks like that, because there's all this, what is it, smash and grab, where people are just stealing, and crime is on the rise, and people just take what they want and they don't get punished for it. And people end up getting arrested and walk just released from prison, so it makes them go do things again. And I live in Orange County, and I actually do a prayer walk around I pray protection around my house, around the building, around the complex. And when I'm walking my dog, I'm saying a prayer, praying over the neighborhood I live in. And uh, I haven't been covering the whole neighborhood. And I heard the other day that on one of the streets in my neighborhood, somebody's catalytic converter got stolen. People are stealing, smashing windows and stealing stuff, which I don't understand why people leave their valuables in their car. Um, Sometimes I can't unpack all my stuff from an event, but I don't leave like wallets or laptops or iPads or cell phones or anything valuable like that in the car. And I see all these people on the Nextdoor app. Oh, somebody broke into my car and stole my backpack that had my laptop and this and that and this and that. I'm like, why would you leave that in your car? I don't understand. Anyway, um, I digress off of that topic. But what can you do to, I guess, be not, if you're feeling down, and a lot of people feel down, like they have everything they need. They have, like for me, I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat. I have a car to drive. I'm healthy. Um, I have some back issues or whatever, but for the most part, I'm healthy. I am in my right mind. I'm a healthy weight. I don't have any health issues. I'm grateful. I have so much to be grateful for. Yet I still can feel sad now and other times, because part of it is it's like I'm alone. And that's why I so happy to have my dog, because she keeps me company and makes it so. Actually, getting my dog, who I nicknamed Psychopaws, has made me get out of the house more. Like I could just sit here. I enjoy working from home, but I could just sit here and like not go anywhere, because I all I had was cats, and I would sit here and not go anywhere. So I made myself a move that did something that forces me to get out of the house. What did that do for me? it actually, the fact that I'm walking so much, I'm walking 3 miles a day roughly with her because she needs a lot of energy. I take her to the dog park, I socialize with people there. It's forcing me to get out and get out of the isolation mode. So I've done something, and it was inadvertent. I didn't think in my head, "Oh, I'm going to get a dog so I can make myself go, go out and connect with people." But that's kind of the byproduct of what happened with that. So I did something that made it possible for me to get out and connect with people and do something I enjoy. Actually, I'm interested now. I'm looking for some place to teach her agility because she is so fast and agile that I think she would be great in agility. And that would be something that I'd probably enjoy too. I wanted to do it with our chocolate lab when we got her, but she I was active duty then, my kids were young, it was like, no, I wasn't gonna focus all my time and attention on that, so, I didn't do it with her, but with Indigo, I wanna get involved in that, but what that does is it forces me, even though I don't want to, if I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling like I wanna isolate and I don't wanna go anywhere, and I wanna just kinda stay in my own little pit or whatever, I can't. I go outside, and then what that's done, I've actually connected with a neighbor who has a dog, and we go for walks together. So now I've developed a friendship with somebody that I wouldn't have otherwise done that I had I not had a dog. Am I suggesting you get a dog? Not necessarily. You have to make that decision if that's right for you. But I've done something to make it so I don't isolate. And so even though I may think about, oh, I'm going to call this friend or I'm going to see about going there. And then I'm like, no, they're probably busy, blah, blah, blah. I do make up these excuses in my head. I should take my own advice about not isolating. But Indigo helped me has helped me to do that. I'm training her. I'm working with a trainer. Shout out to my trainer, York from a Veterans Objective. He's an awesome trainer. He comes uh, roughly once or a couple times a month. We had it scheduled every week, but with the holidays and some of my stuff and all, it's been a couple times a month. And he comes, and so I'm working with her and training her and stuff. And he's done an outstanding job. And probably after obedience training, I'll train her to be a service dog so I can take her with me wherever I need to go. So she's something that's helped me um, get out of the blues. It's hard to so you can't just sit here because she's 6 months old and she's got a lot of energy and she wants to play, and so I need to take her somewhere. So it's forced me to get out. So that might be a solution for you if you don't have a pet. Pets are a great comfort or support. Maybe you're allergic to pets and can't have one, so you need to find another outlet. And maybe that means finding a buddy that'll help you. Um, if you don't hear from me for a couple of days, call me until you get a hold of me, kind of thing. Text me until you get a hold of me, kind of thing. Um, you have to set yourself up before you get into that blues state, to be able to have some support there so you won't go down that rabbit hole. And it's easy to do. It's really easy to do. I don't have a Christmas tree this year. The main reason I didn't put it up is because of uh, Indigo, because I think she probably would have chewed on the ornaments and pulled the tree down and things like that. So I was like, I think I'm going to get a poinsettia though this week when I go do my shopping for Christmas meal. Just something to brighten up the place. But I don't know if that helps anybody, but a lot of people look for their answer in success or a relationship or some addiction like alcohol, gambling, drugs, shopping. I mean, I I for a while had to stay out of the stores because I had a shopping thing. Shopping made me feel better about myself, and I realized I was like, oh, I think this might be a little bit too much. I don't need all this stuff. So I'm I don't live like a minimalist, but I don't need a lot of stuff. I don't get a lot of extra stuff until something breaks. Like for instance, my little thing that I strain tea with for a cup of tea, there was one little piece of it that broke off and it was still okay. Well, another piece broke off, and now it leans, and whenever you pour the water in, the water keeps going straight out. So now I'm going to have to get another one. But that lasted me a good, how long have I had that? Several years, like years. And when Tivana was open, because that's where I bought it. So it's probably about 5 years old, which is good. So, and it's plastic, so I'll put it in recycling and then get myself another one. So anyway, I went off on a tangent, but I think the thing that gives me the most hope is my relationship with Jesus, because I know that I can't. Nothing is going to fill me but Him. I can't fill it with success. I can't fill it with even the work I'm doing with the ladies in Kenya. I can't fill it with sales of product. I can't fill it with more things. I can't fill it with alcohol or food or whatever thing that may seem to be the thing of the moment. A lot of people try to fill themselves with things, and it just doesn't work. We have a lot of power hungry people that keep going and make more money and make more money and fill them, thinking that's going to fill themselves up. You see a lot of sports people that think the fame and all is going to fill them up, and then they end up committing crimes or getting in some kind of trouble. It's because none of that stuff fills you up. The empty space in your heart is a place for God. Only God can fill that. So if you think about that this holiday season, turning to Him, and it may seem like, wow, what's He going to do for me? But if you reach out to Him and ask, He can help fill you up. He can bring something your way if you just have faith with it and walk by faith and kind of turn away from those things that you think are going to do the trick. Anyway, that's about all I wanted to share today. I mean, I came through a pretty rough time. I mean, my whole life has been kind of one thing after another. My mother dying, and then the trajectory that produced in my life. It took me a lot of years to realize that I was operating on the behaviors that I developed from growing up in alcoholism, and then I needed to do something to work on me and get get it out, get rid of it, write it down, make amends to people, detach with love, and move forward. So I hope if this holiday, if you've lost a loved one or if you're hurting in some way, that you'll reach out to somebody, reach out to a friend. Don't isolate. Isolation is not the answer. I'm somebody that can tell you that. Somebody who's a pro at isolation, and I continually work to not do that to myself. So one last thing, let me put up the banner. If you can still get some holiday gifts, basketsandbeatskenya.com, or go to Fairtrade Long Beach. Fairtrade Long Beach. I was there last night. There's a lot of great gift ideas there for people that are fair trade, or you can find something on the website. Don't know what to get somebody, get them a gift card that they can use on the website and buy something that they like. So more products are going to be uploaded soon. I think over the holiday break from my job, I'm going to be taking photos of new pillows, new table runner sets. They're all beautiful things. I can do a shopping with you if you want, leading up to Christmas. Just PM me. And then also we're still looking for donations to help with the expenses in Kenya for the things like school fees. We've kind of tapered off the food packs since things are opening up and they can start earning money. We may still provide some, but definitely school fees, medical care, things like that. The sales have not reached sustainability yet. We're working hard on that. We have some goals going forward for 2022 to do that. But if you need a tax deduction for the end of the year, basketsmeetskenya.org. It is tax deductible and would appreciate any support there. I know a lot of people are gived out, but there are still people struggling at a level that is beyond what many of us can even imagine. So this will help those people. And think about that this holiday season. If you want to donate $5, $10, 20, 100, 1,000, whatever, every little bit helps. So would appreciate your support there. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful week leading up to Christmas. I sending much nakupenda, much love, and for a great holiday season. And I will see you soon. Nakupenda.